Okay, students, so let's begin. So I'll be teaching you guys ICT. So how the class is gonna go, right? So most of the time, since this is an English medium class, I'll be speaking in English. So make a English medium class එකක් ඉඳලම ගොඩක් වෙලාවට English වලින් තමයි කතා කරන්නේ. But if you all didn't understand anything, ඔයගලන්ට මොන හරි තේරුම් නැති වුණොත් if you all didn't understand what I am saying, මං කියපු දේවල් ඔයගලන් තේරුම් නැති වුණොත් ඔයගලන්ට chat එකේ message එකක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. Then I'll repeat it in Sinhala. So I know there are some students uh, who might get difficult to understand English, and there are also some students I can see that it might be difficult for y'all to understand in Sinhala as well. So since this is an English medium class, most of the time it would be English. ඉතින් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට English. හැබැයි ඔයාලට මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තිබුණොත් මම සිංහලෙන් explanation එක කරනවා. හරි. හැබැයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ message එකක් chat එකේ දාන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් if not, I wouldn't know no, because I would know whether you have understood it or not. And also if I ask a question, reactions අනිවාර්යෙන් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. reaction එකක් ඔයයන් zoom වල option එක තියෙනවා ළමයි thumbs up reaction එකක් use කරන්න පුළුවන්, or else if you all have a question you can use a raise hand option. uh, all those small reactions are also available. Okay, and also if you all have a difficulty in hearing me, මාව ඇහෙන්නේ නැති මොකක් හරි sound issue එකක් තියෙනවා නේ එකක් කියන්න. හරි හරි එහෙනම් so let's start. Okay, so okay, so ICT, for your ICT, when you are doing it for, so all of you guys have chosen ICT for your O levels, right? ඔක්කොම දැන් තෝරගන්න තියෙන O levels වලට ICT කරනවා කියලා. Now ICT is a very important lesson. So since it is in the bucket subject, it's good that you all have chosen ICT, because it would be very important for your future as well. So when we are doing A levels වලට ආපුවාම options ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ normally මේක drop කරොත් එහෙම ආයෙත් අලුතින්ම වගේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඉගෙන ගන්න වෙනවා tech වගේ streams එහෙම කරද්දී ආයෙත් ICT from the very beginning you will have to learn. So it's really good that you guys have chosen ICT for your O levels. හරි. Now when it comes to the paper, okay, when it comes to your ICT paper, okay, for your O-level paper, I'm talking about the O-level paper, okay. So when it comes to your O-level paper, okay, when it comes to your O-level paper, you will have a paper of two parts, paper 1 and paper 2, but they would be both given in the same time, okay. එකම time එකේ තමයි හම්බ වෙන්නේ ළමයි. So when it comes to paper 1 and paper 2, you will have to answer 40 MCQ questions. Okay, you will have to answer 40 MCQ questions, and then you will have essay questions. You will have 7 essay questions. 7 essay questions. Okay, but you don't have to do all of the 7 questions. You only have to do the first question, which is compulsory. Okay, which is compulsory, and then you can choose 4 more questions. Okay, so out of the remaining 6 you can choose 4 more question. Okay, so this is how your O levels paper is made. So these 40 MCQs, this is very important for y'all. Okay, 40 MCQ questions. This is very important because this 40 marks is exactly 40 marks out of 100. So if you are losing 1 mark, that means from the what do you mean? What do you call from the whole paper? මුළු paper එකෙන්ම ඔයගලන්ට 1 mark එකක් drop වෙනවා. හරි. එතකොට මේ විදිහට තමයි paper 1 40 MCQs. ඊට පස්සේ paper 2 7 essay question. එකෙන් එකක් compulsory අනිත් ඒවා choose කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. So this is how this O-level paper is made. So what I wanted to say was these MCQ questions. The MCQ questions are important. Okay, MCQ questions are important. Because the lesson 1 okay, lesson 2 okay, lesson 3 okay. මේ ඔක්කොගෙම ළමයි අහන්නේ MCQ questions තමයි. So you will only be given MCQ questions out of these first 3 lessons. Nowadays they are not asking in normal nowadays papers. They will not be asking any essay questions out of these lesson 1, 2, and 3. There will only be most of the time there will only be MCQ question. Okay, so these even though these lesson 1 lesson 2 lesson 3 all these are kind of easy මේවා ටිකක් lazy වුණාට ඔයගලන්ට MCQs අහන හින්දා මොකක් හරි වැරදුනොත් එහෙම කියන්නේ 100 marks වලින් you will be losing 1 mark. හරි. So I just wanted you all to give you all a whole scenario, and for your O-level paper you will need to study both grade 10 and grade 11 syllabus. So both of them you will be getting for your O-levels. O-level paper එකට ළම grade 10 වල ඉගෙන ගන්න කොටසුයි grade 11 වල ඔයා study කරන කොටසුයි දෙකම question කරනවා. හරි. ඉතින් ඒක හින්දා grade 10 ඉවර වුණත් ඒක අමතක කරලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද ඒක grade 10 grade 11 මේ අවුරුදු දෙකේම. So both of මේ අවුරුදු දෙකේම content එක ඔයගලන්ට O levels වලට හම්බ වෙනවා. So both of the contents out of from grade 10 and grade 11 you will be getting for your O level ICT paper. Okay. So it's not a very hard subject. You don't so basically what I wanted to say was don't try to by heart this subject ICT subject. මේක කටපාඩම් කරන්න කියලා හිතුවොත් ළමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ පොතේම තියෙන දේම නැත්තම් ප්‍රැක්ටිකලි මේක දන්නේ නැතුව පොතේම තියෙන දේම මතක තියාගත්තොත් අර හැමතිස්සෙම හොයනවා ඒ පොතේ තිබ්බ ආන්සර් එකම ලියන්න. So if you try to by heart this one, when you get a question, you will be trying to remember what was in the book. What did the teacher say? What was in the textbook? You will try to remember that one. Don't try to do that with this subject. You have the other subject science, තියෙනවා, history තියෙනවා. I think තියෙන දේම ලියන්න ඕන ළමයි. වැරදි එකක් ලිව්වොත් marks නැහැ. book එකේ තියෙන දේම ලියන්න වෙනවා. But when it comes to the ICT subject, you can write a lot of answers which are not in your textbook. Can practically use වෙන දේවල් directly හැමම answers ලියන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් අර book එකේ textbook එකේ තියෙන දේවලුත් එහෙම ලියන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. For example, now you're currently now in this year they might change the syllabus, but still for your textbooks are 2015 syllabus. So when you go to school you will be getting a textbook, right? Textbook එකක් හම්බ වෙනවනේ දැන් අලුතින් class එකට February වල ගියාම. ඉතින් මේ හම්බෙන්නේ ළමයි 2015 15 ගහපු syllabus එක හම්බ වෙන්නේ. Now just wonder like how many things have changed from 2015. කොච්චර දේවල් දැන් especially in the tech world how many things have changed. A lot have changed, right? ඔගොල්ලෝ ටෙක්නොලොජි එක පාවිච්චි කරන විදිය වෙනස් වෙලා. ටෙක්නොලොජි එක ඒ කාලේ තිබ්බ ටෙක්නොලොජි එක දැන් එහෙම ලොකු දේවලුත් නෙවෙයි. ඉතින් ඉතින් ඒ කාලේ නිකන් මාර අලුත් දේවල් විදියට තිබ්බ දේවල් now they are like basic stuff. Okay. Now social media is not a very big thing, right? You all might be in social media. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉන්නවා social media. ඔයගලන්ට වඩා පොඩි ළමයි ඉන්නවා දැන් social media වල. ඉතින් WhatsApp කියන එක අලුත් දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. WhatsApp දැන් ඕන ළමයෙක් දන්නවා. දැන් Zoom එකෙන් this video conferencing. So Zoom is not even mentioned in your textbook. Textbook එකේ Zoom කියලා ඒ කියන්නේ video conferencing යටතේ Zoom කියන software එක mention වෙලත් නැහැ. Zoom වත් නැහැ. Microsoft Teams is not there. Google Meet is not there. So but that is what we are using right now, right? ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ books වල mention වෙන්නේ ළමයි Skype කියන software. Skype කියන එක දැන් තාම තියෙනවා but ඒක normally එච්චර තාම use කරන්නේ අර පරණ කට්ටියම නිකන් companies එහෙම use කරනවා මිසක් ඒක ලොකු use එකක් නෑ දැන්. So just wonder like how many things have changed throughout the years, but science did not change. History books, history lessons did not change. So you have to remember all those stuff. But when it comes to ICT, don't try to buy hard everything. Just understand it practically තේරුම් ගන්න practically තේරුම් අරගෙන එතකොට ඔළුවට ටක් ගාලා answers එනවා. ඒ answer එක වැරදින්නේ නැහැ. කියන්නේ ඔයා හරියට answers කියන්නේ practically හිතාගෙන ඔයා ලිව්වා කියලා ඔයාට වැරදි දාන්න. හරි? So this is I want your reactions. Okay. So this is the first lesson. So it is an introduction to ICT. So I want to say like most of the stuff here you might have learned it in grade 9. Grade 9 වල ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේවා study කරලා තියෙන්නේ. But let's see. But new things are there of course. අලුත් දේවල් තියෙනවා. හරි? So data and information. Okay. So let's see what is data and what is information. Okay. The numbers, words, images, symbols which do not bear a meaning when standing alone are called data. Okay, the numbers, it can be a number එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, it can be a word, or it can be an image, or else it can be a symbol. Which do not bear a meaning. There is no meaning. Okay, there is no meaning. When standing alone are called data. මොන හරි දෙයක් තියෙනවා නම් it can be numbers තියෙනවා නම් words තියෙනවා නම් images තියෙනවා නම් symbols තියෙනවා නම් ඒවේ කිසිම meaning එකක් නැත්තම් ඒවා තනියෙන් මුකුත් කරන්න නැතුව basically collect those stuff ඒක නිකන් collect කරලා තියෙනවා ඒකේ කිසිම meaning එකක් නැත්තම් ඒකට අපි කියනවා data කියලා. So we'll be discussing some examples later, but I'll give you one example. දැන් අපි ගමු school එකක example. School එකක your let's say maths mark. Okay, maths mark. So maths marks of students. Okay, maths marks of students. දැන් මේ ලකුණු ටික ඔහේ නිකන් තිබ්බ කියලා. So different students will have different marks, right? Some students might have good marks, some students might have low marks, some might be in the middle. වැඩි ලකුණු තියන අය ඉන්න පුළුවන්, අඩු අය ඉන්නත් පුළුවන්. Normal 50-60 range එකේ ඉන්න ළමයිනුත් ඉන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මේ මාක්ස් ගත්තොත් ළමයි දැන් ඕක නිකන් හැමෝටම ඔහොම මාක්ස් ඩිස්ට්‍රිබියුට් කරලා තිබ්බොත් එහෙම ඒක කිසිම අපි ඒක ඩේටා එකක් නේ you can't make any decision out of it right ඒක කිසිම meaning එකක් නැහැ කිසිම තේරුමක් නැහැ normally වෙන students ලට marks and distribute කරලා තියෙන ඒක individually ගත්තොත් ඒක කිසිම meaning එකක් නැහැ හරි but let's say after processing data we get information. Using information, we are able to make decisions. So after processing the data, you get information. So then on typically on හැම ළමයෙක්ටම මොන marks distribute කරලා අපි ඕක process කරලා පොඩ්ඩක් බලමු. process කරලා බැලුවොත් ළමයි we can find like there are students who have very good marks. ඒකට හොඳම marks තියෙන student කවුද කියලා බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. හොඳම marks තියෙන students ලා. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් we can process and get the average maths mark. Average maths mark. What do you mean by average? So you get all the marks, total marks, you total maths marks of all the students. Okay, total maths marks අර ගන්නවා මුළු එකතුව හැම ළමයිගෙම කියන්නේ ඔක්කොම ළමයිගේ maths marks ටික ගන්න and then number of students let's say there are only let's say there are 40 students ඔන්න 40 so you get the average maths mark right so you get the average maths mark now when we get the average and when we get the very highest mark now we have processed the data okay so we have got a certain amount of information right certain amount of information is there now okay so we have okay so we have got a certain amount of information නේද තොරතුරු මොන හරි හම්බ වෙලා information හම්බ වෙලා now we can make a certain decision out of it no like what kind of a decision can be made මොන වගේ decision එකක්ද ගන්න පුළුවන් first thing is we can identify the students who are below average so let's say the average is 60 the class maths marks average is 60 now we can get the students who are below the average again 30s වල ඉන්නවා 40s වල ඉන්න ළමයි ඉන්න පුළුවන් 20s වල ඉන්න ළමයි ඉන්න පුළුවන් ඊට පස්සේ ඒක so the teacher can get the students who are below average now that is those students they have to definitely improve okay then for example teacher decision එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන් let's teach them after school let's do some after school classes okay or else let's inform their parents or else clearly identify what's the problem is හරියටම මොකක්ද issue එක එක්ක after school classes දාන්න පුළුවන් ඒ ළමයින්ට නැත්නම් මොනවද parents ලට inform කරන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් හරියටම issue එක identify කරගන්න පුළුවන් sometimes it might be a very different issue so ඒ වගේ decisions ගන්න පුළුවන් okay there's a highest mark student එක student කෙනෙක් නම් so let's say only one student is having above 90 and all the other students are in the 70s and 60s the student කෙනෙක් විතර 90 වලින් උඩ ඉන්නවා අනිත් හැම ළමෙක්ම ගොඩක් average එක touch වෙන්නේ ගොඩක් 60s වල 70s වල දැන් එතනත් issue එකක් තියෙනවානේ ඒ වගේ එකකත් issue එකක් තියෙනවා now what's the issue ඒ වගේ තැනක මොකක්ද issue එක වෙන්නේ now that's probably the problem with the teacher okay that most probably the problem is with the teacher okay or else the maths paper was very extremely hard extremely difficult ගොඩාක් අමාරු paper එකක් දීලා තියෙන්නේ ඒක හින්දා අර එක ළමයෙක් ඉන්න පුළුවන් යා කොහේ හරි ටියුෂන් හරි කොහේ හරි දැකලා යා කොහොම හරි paper එක කරලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන් but අනිත් ඔක්කොම හැම ළමයෙක්ටම වගේ අඩු වෙලා නම් ඉතින් ඒ වගේ problem එකක් තමයි. Either the paper is way too hard, paper එක ගොඩක් අමාරුයි, or else the teacher who is teaching maths hasn't done a very good job. එච්චර හොඳට teach කළා නෑ maths. ඉතින් එන්නේ වගේ we can make decisions out of information. With data, when data is there, we cannot make any decision. So it doesn't have a meaning. Okay. Did everyone understood what I said? The difference between data and information. Now this is the time for you all to react. You can use the thumbs up and then react. Okay. If you all can put the message as well. Good. තේරුණාද ළමයි හැමෝටම? thumbs up use කරන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් message එකක් drop කරන්න පුළුවන්. Okay, good. හරි. එහෙනම් අපි යන් continue කරමු. කාට හරි තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් කියන්න, I'll explain to you all again. Okay, so let's move. Alright. Now I have given certain different examples to show you all what's data and information. Okay. Now let's take the first example. අපි first example එක ගමු. Recorded temperature. Okay, recorded temperature. Now let's take temperature එක ළමයි normally අපි උෂ්ණත්වය ගත්තොත් now normally in Sri Lanka we are using Celsius නේද? අපි Celsius තමයි ඒක තමයි දන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලා. දැන් ලංකාවේ අපි use කරන්නේ Celsius. ඉතින් දැන් normally අපි Celsius ඔන්න temperatures තියෙනවා. temperatures දැන් normally තිබ්බා කියලා normally ඔක record කරා කියලා. If we just record the temperature, now temperature gets different every single time, no, it changes, no. So the sun is there, then it becomes cloudy. So in Sri Lanka the temperature varies a lot, right? So in the morning it might be cold, in the evening it might be cold, and in the daytime it might be very hot. And in the very night, even like after 10 o'clock, after 11 o'clock, it might be uh, hot as well. Okay. Now, now the temperature changes, but now it doesn't have a proper meaning, right? The temperature එක තිබ්බා කියලා, it doesn't have a meaning. හරියට ඒකේ ලොකු තේරුමක් නැහැ. හරි? But if we process කරාට පස්සේ, processing is you take data අරගෙන ඒක information වලට convert කරනවා. හරි? process කරාට පස්සේ you can see there are patterns in temperature changes. pattern එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ temperatures වෙනස් වෙච්ච ඒවා daily average එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් අද දවසේ average එක අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන්. The today's average, the temperature average was, let's say, somewhere around 20. So I checked in the morning. උදේ බලද්දී නම් මං හිතන්නේ 28 වගේ තමයි තිබ්බේ temperature. So that means it wasn't a very hot day, right? So normally the hot day in Sri Lanka would mean somewhere around 31 Celsius. Okay. Now, so today wasn't a very hot day, but it wasn't cold either. Normal basic temperature එකක්. හරි. ඉතින් මේ temperature එක නිකන් record කරා කියලා එතන meaning එකක් මොකුත් නැහැ. But if we understand, if we take a pattern එකක් ගත්තා නම්, if we get the average එකක් ගත්තා නම්, then you can make certain decisions. For example, දැන් අපිට දවස් කීපයක අපිට temperature changes එහෙම calculate කරලා ඒක බලලා කියන්න පුළුවන් what would be the temperature tomorrow. Then normally if you go to Google weather, you can check like what would be the temperature tomorrow. හෙට temperature එක මොකක්ද කියලා නිකන් අයිඩියා එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් now that is information. පැටර්න් එකක් අපි රෙකග්නයිස් කරලා හෙට තියෙන ටෙම්පරේචර් එක normally identify කරගන්නවා. හරිද? Now that is one example. So you take the temperature and then the information is you get the patterns, the averages, trending එක. What do you mean by a trend? Trend එකක් කියන්නේ ළමයි trend එකක් කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Then normally අපි ගත්තොත් දැන් nowadays I would say like nowadays these most of the students are wearing smartwatches. I don't know in your area, but in my area, most of my students are wearing smartwatches. Mm. Being in my physical classes, I can see them. No, so I see like most of the students they are wearing smartwatch. Smartwatches them මේ කාලේ දානවා. පොඩි කියන්නේ මේ මගේ එන ක්ලාස් එන ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස් ලගේ මම දකිනවා. ඉතින් එක මේක දැන් ට්‍රෙන්ඩ් එකක්. This is a trend. දැන් ට්‍රෙන්ඩ් එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක දැන් මේ කන්ටිනියු වෙනවා. It's a pattern like there is a trend now. It gets continued every day. Now it started with one student. One student was wearing a smartwatch. uh, then after that in the next week two students are wearing smartwatches. So after 1 month, like the whole class is wearing smartwatches. Mm. So first of all, the boys were wearing the මුලින්ම boys විතරයි smartwatch දාගෙන හිටියේ. Then girls දානවා. Girls then pink color band එකෙන් pink color අර මොකද්ද pink color dial එකේන. Now there are smartwatches. Girls Then girls දානවා. So that is a trend. Trend එක. So the trend, of course, it might die in the next year. In a few months, it might die. Okay, the smartwatch trend එක තව ටික most probably තව මාස කීපයක් තියේ ඊට පස්සේ ඔක අමතක වෙයි. So people will forget it and then it might uh, go away. There are problems with smartwatches though because first of all I'm not a fan of smartwatches because I hate charging it. Okay, you have to charge them and I hate it. I usually I like to wear these chronograph watches, so I'm not a big fan of smart watches. Then ළමයිට උනත් දැන් ටික කාලයක් යද්දි තේරෙයි දැන් මේක charge කර කර ඉන්න වෙන එපා වෙනවා කියලා. So they might also forget about it. So the trend will die. Okay, the trend will die. Okay, but that is also information, right? So if there is a trend, that is information, right? Trend එකක් තියෙනවා කියන්නේ ළමයි ඒකත් තොරතුරක්. Information එකක්. මොකක්ද ඒක කාටද benefit වෙන්නේ? Tell me, like let's say there is a trend of smartwatches. Smartwatches trend එකක් තියෙනවා. කාටද ඒක මේ benefit එක කාටද? මටද benefit එක I am a tuition class teacher. Is the benefit is for me. Benefit එක මටද හම්බ වෙන්නේ? Who gets the most benefit if there is a trend of smartwatches in Sri Lanka? Yes, it's the benefit is not me, of course. I am a teacher and I have no connection to smartwatches. So trend එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා it's not very important for me. So who gets the most benefit? කාටද මේ information එකේ වැඩිම benefit එක තියෙන්නේ? Yes, the markets, like so the watch market. So people who import watches to Sri Lanka, okay. So all these wholesalers out there, all those people who are importing watches from these China and all. So that's so those people need that information, right? ඒක වැදගත් වෙන්නේ ඒගොල්ලොන්ට. Because then if they identify there is a trend එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා දැක්ක ගමන් මොකද කරන්නේ? ඔන්න watch chain එක ගන්නවා smart watches lot fitting ගෙනල්ලා distribute කරනවා. හරි? ඉතින් it wasn't important for me. But for some other person, these watch markets, these sellers, all these wholesalers out there, ඒගොල්ලොන්ට ඒක import. පෙටාවල, if you know, like පිටකොටුව, පෙටා, you get all these wholesalers, right? Wholesalers ඔක්කොම ඉන්නේ එතනනේ ගොඩක්. ඒක important වෙන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන්ට. ඒගොල්ලෝ ටක් ගාලා ගේනවා. දැන් කලින් ගෙන හිටපු watch නෙවෙයි. ඒ ඔක්කොම they would remove everything and then they would import only smart watches. Trend එක අඩු වෙනවා කියලා දැනගත්තොත් that's also important for them. They would stop selling smart watches. Smart watch sell කරන එක අයින් කරනවා. වෙන මොන හරි ඒ කාලේට එන trend එකක් ගේනවා. So that is what you call trend. Okay. So that is also an information. Right. Now, next one is historical and real-time stock prices. Okay, so this particular question was actually asked in one of the past papers as well. So MCQ paper. So what do you mean by real-time stock prices? Now, I don't know whether you might know this, but there is a thing called Colombo Stock Exchange. කොළඹ කොටස් වෙළඳපොළ කියලා තියෙනවා ළමයි market එක. There is a market called Columbus Stock Exchange. So in here, what happens is all the companies out there, all the public companies, ඔක්කොම public companies. ඒ කියන්නේ for example අපි ගත්තොත් John Keels කරන අය, ඊට පස්සේ LOLC, HMB, Sampath Bank. So there are almost, I think there are around 350 plus public companies in Sri Lanka. මට මතක විදියට around 350 මේ වගේ ගාණක් ඉන්නවා. මේ කට්ටිය ඔක්කොම ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ shares exchange කරගන්නේ මේ Colombo Stock Exchange එකේ. Now if you all I mean when you all turn 18, so you should be 18 plus. So when you all turn 18, you can make a Colombo, you call it a CDS account. CDS account එකක් open කරලා you can buy stocks. So you can buy a piece of those companies. You can buy a piece of, let's say, Sampath Bank. You can buy a piece of, what do you call, HMB. You can buy a piece of Expo Lanka. So all these companies are out there. ඔයගලන්ට පොඩි කෑල්ලක් අරගෙන තියාගන්න පුළුවන්. A percentage, a small percentage, for example, like 0.001%, even less than that, පොඩි ගාණක් අරගෙන තියාගන්න පුළුවන්. So you will be a small owner of that company. පොඩි ඕන කෙනෙක් වෙනවා ඒ company එකේ. Then ඒකේ importance එක තමයි අර you can sell it. So after a few months or after a few days, after a few years even, you can sell that stock price for a higher amount. So normally if it is a good company, if it is a very good company, after a few years you can sell it for a very high amount. Let's say you just invested, you just put let's say you just put 10,000 වගේ දැම්ම කියලා හිතන්නකෝ. Stocks ගන්න, shares ගන්න. මේක තව few years වලින් අවුරුද්දකින් කියන්න බෑ, ඒක වෙනස් වෙනවා. But sometimes ඔයගලන්ට sell කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි මේක 40,000 වලට වගේ. If it is a very good company, හොඳ company එකක් නම් ලොකු ගණන් වලට sell කරන්න පුළුවන්. Of course මේක අඩුත් වෙනවා. සමහර companies loss වෙනවා. ඒකට ඉතින් ඔයාට තව මේ වගේ 5,000 වලට sell කරන්නත් වෙයි. හරි? So all these public companies out there, they are exchanging, buying and selling their shares, all their shares in the Colombo Stock Exchange. Hari? Now, when it comes to the stock exchange, the stock prices, it will change every second. හැම second එකකම stock market එකේ price එක වෙනස් වෙනවා. දැන් තියෙන්නේ රුපියල් 10 නම් ඕක තව තප්පර දෙකකින් වගේ බලද්දි රුපියල් 12ක් වෙයි. Then in the sense lamai now it is not open. The stock exchange is open from 9:30 to uh, 3 o'clock. Okay. So 9:30 to 3 o'clock it is open every weekday, except the poor days it is open. Or as if it is a like public holiday it is closed. But හැමදාම ඇරලා. ඉතින් except weekends. ඉතින් කොහොම හරි then the price will change, right? Now that doesn't really have a meaning, right? So the price is 10, the next time the price is 12, it doesn't really have a meaning. But if we process all those data, all those historical data, if we take the price of the price fluctuations, මේ ගාන වෙනස් වෙන ඒ කියන්නේ මේ ගාන වෙනස් වෙන එක දැන් මාස ගානක ඔය data collect කරගෙන ඕක process කරොත් then we can understand the historical performance, the price fluctuations and the trend. Now we can make a decision. If somebody say to me like today the price is today the LOLC bank the share price is it goes to somewhere around 150 these days, so let's say it's 150. Now that doesn't have a meaning, right? හැබැයි මට කවුරු හරි කිව්වොත් මේක සතියකට කලින් තිබ්බේ week ago මේක තිබ්බේ 120 වල මේක end increase වුණා 121 වුණා දැන් ඔක increase වෙලා දැන් now it is at 150. දැන් මට කවුරු හරි මේ historical දෙයක් මේ කියන්නේ කලින් අර dataත් එක්ක ඔක්කොම information, right? Now I can make a decision. මොකද්ද decision එක නයි දැන් මට තේරෙනවා this LOLC, this particular share prices will go up, will go up in the next few weeks. එන්න මේක වැඩි වෙනවා කියලා now I can make a decision. මේ හම්බුනේ information එක. තේරුණාද? So investors would like information. It's not the data. Investors in the sense ආයෝජකයෝ සල්ලි දාන කට්ටිය. ඉතින් මේගොල්ලෝ කැමති information වලට because then they can make investment decisions. Investment decisions දැන් ඒගොල්ලන්ට ගන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? Now that's the difference between data and information. Okay, now let's see the next one as well. ඊළඟ example එකක් බලමු. Scores of students in a standardized test or exams. ස්කූල් එකක මොන හරි එක්සෑම් එකක ස්කෝර් එක. දැන් ඒක ලොකු ඉම්පෝර්ටන්ස් එකක් නෑ. මේ මම කලින් කියපු එක්සැම්පල් එකම තමයි. But if we get the student performance, හැම ළමයිගෙම performance එක. හැම ළමයිගෙම improve වෙන්න ඕන තැන්. What areas should be improved? Okay. So if we get everything, now we can make decisions. නේද? මම කලින් කිව්වා වගේ the teacher might not be good. Teacher හොඳ නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Or else the paper might be way too hard. Paper එක ගොඩාක් hard paper එකක් හම්බෙලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. So if in those cases we can make a decision, right? හරි තීරණයක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. Or else අපිට teacher change කරලා චුට්ටක් බලන්න පුළුවන්. Or else we can check the paper like whether it's too hard. If it is too hard we can like lower the thing, and then the syllabus might be too hard. Then for example now let's say for your O-level exam, let's say none of the students get an A plus, none of the students get A for ICT. Let's say for the O-level exam 1 year, let's take like 2024 exam, none of the students get an A. කාටවත් ඒ හම්බුන්නේ නැහැ කියලා හිතන්න. මං කියන්නේ මුළු country එකේ. Now that's a problem in the paper, right? paper එකේ problem එකක් නෙතන තියෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ paper එක ගොඩක් අමාරු එක. දැන් සමහර වෙලාවට මෙහෙම වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Normally A level paper හදන professor කෙනෙක්. The professor who is making who is in the committee who is making the A-level paper. Let's say he was given the job to make the O-level exam as well. So let's say he made a very hard paper. Normally this doesn't happen. I'm just assuming it. මෙහෙම දෙයක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් අපි නිකන් assume කරමුකෝ. ඉතින් එහෙම වුණොත් එහෙම ඒක paper එකේ අවුලක්. paper එකේ problem එකක්. හරි. Okay. So let's move. So now I think you all have an idea about data and information. So I'll be sharing these slides in the group. Then after that, y'all can take down the notes. Notes ගන්න පුළුවන් එතකොට. අනිවාර්යෙන් මේවේ notes තියාගන්න because the thing is when you write something, you will remember it the most. ඔගොල්ලන්ගේම handwriting වලින් ලිව්වොත් දෙයක්, then you will remember it more. හරි එතකොට ගොඩාක් එතකොට තමයි ගොඩක්ම ඔළුවට යන්නේ. හරි. හරි. Information system. Submitting data for processing is called input. So we know what is input, right? Input කියන්නේ අපි ගත්තොත් ළමයි input. We have input and then we have the process. Then we have output. Okay. If y'all can't see, I'll draw it in wait, I'll write it here. Okay. So input, process, output. Okay. So what we input is called data. අපි ඇතුළත් කරන්නේ data වලට. data තමයි ඇතුළත් කරන්නේ. data තමයි ඇතුළත් කරන්නේ. Then after we process that data, so we process them. ඒක මොන හරි එක තීරුමක් ඇති විදියට අපි convert කරගන්නවා. What do we convert it to? Information. So we convert it to information. හරි. So we input data, we process them, we output information. So for example, අපි input කරන්නේ මොනවද? We input the marks, then we process them, we get the average. Average එක ගත්තා. Or else we input the stock prices. Stock prices input කරා. Process කරා. Trend එකක් හොයාගත්තා. Trend එකක් හොයාගත්තා. හරි? Now normally this processing, it's not always a computer. Process කරන්න ළමයි computer එකක්ම තියෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. Teacher ට average එක හොයන්න කියලා teacher ට computer එකක් ඕනේ නැහැනේ. So the teacher does not need a computer to get these what do you call these the average of students, right? Teacher ට computer එකක් ඕනේ නැහැ. So this is not always a computer. It can be either these it can be a machine. Normally it can be a electronic device එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Or else it just can be human as well. අපිට process කරන්න පුළුවන්. So this processing is not always done in a computer. හරි. Now if something has these input, process and output, we call it an information system. If there is a system which has all these inputs, the process and the output, we call it an information system. Okay, now let's see what it is. Okay, so submitting data for processing is called input, and the result after processing is called output. So we call all these components. So if all these components are together, ඔක්කොම එකට නම් තියෙන්නේ අපි කියනවා මේකට ළමයි information system එකක් කියලා. Hmm. So all this processing is done and it gives an output as well. Output එකකුත් එළියට දෙනවා. Hmm. And සිංහලේ කාව ප්‍රතිදානයක් එළියට දෙනවා. හරි. අපි examples බලමු. Hmm. First example එක. Transaction processing system. Transaction processing system එකක්. Hmm. What do you mean by transaction? Transaction එකක් කියන්නේ ළමයි මූල්‍ය නිකන් ගනුදෙනුවක් වගේ. Hmm. මේවා process වෙන systems වලට අපි කියනවා normally TPS systems කියලා. We call them TPS systems. Hmm. That is what you call, which we normally call them TPS, transaction processing systems. මේවේ මොනවද කරන්නේ? මේවා තියෙන purpose මොනවද මේගොල්ලෝ කරනවා ළමයි මේවා day to day transactions බලනවා sales වගේ දේවල් day to day transactions කියන්නේ නිකන් එදිනෙදා වෙන ගනුදෙනු ඒ දවසේ වෙන මොන හරි transaction දැන් මේ වගේ දේවල් normally අපි example එකක් ගත්තොත් POS system එකක් point of sale system එකක් point of sale system එකක් මේ තරත් TPS system එකක් මේ POS systems ඔගොල්ලෝ කොහෙද දැකලා තියෙන්නේ? Tell me if you all have seen these POS systems in somewhere, point of sale systems කොහරි දැකලා තියෙනවද? Hmm. Okay. So y'all, of course, y'all have seen it, but y'all don't have an idea about it. POS system එකක් කියන්නේ ළමයි when you go to a food city. Let's say Cargill's food city. Hmm. Cargill's. Hmm. Cargill's food city. Okay. You go to the Cargill's food city. Food city එකට ගිහින් ගන්නවා. You buy all the, you collect, you take a trolley and you collect all the goods that you need. ඔක්කොම ඔන්න දාගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ යනවනේ cashier එක ගාවට. Cashier ගාවට යනවනේ. Cashier මොකද කරන්නේ? Cashier කරන්නේ he would pick up one by one. He would pick up all the products one by one, and he would point it to a barcode reader. Barcode reader එකකට ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් අර barcode එක අල්ලලා ඔක්කොම read කරලා ඊට පස්සේ calculate කරලා ඔන්න ආට දෙනවා receipt එකක් දෙනවා. He is going to say like this is the total, so this is the amount that you should pay. Now that system that person is using a cashier use කරන system එක ළමයි that is a POS system. It is not a typical computer. It can be a computer as well. It's fine. Then normally a computer එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. But most of the time it is a separate uh, system. Separate system. Now normally next time ගිහම බලන්නකෝ next time a cashier එක පොඩ්ඩක් දිහා බලන්නකෝ they don't have a normal keyboard. Normal keyboards are not there. The normal keyboard එක අපි use කරන keyboard එක නෑ එතන. එතන තියෙන්නේ numbers උයි ඔය පොඩි buttons ටිකක් තියෙනවා වෙන ඔය options වලට කියන්නේ symbols ඔය plus divisions ඔය වගේ options ටිකක් තියෙනවා. එච්චරයි එතන normal keyboard එකක් එතන use කරන්නේ නැහැ. එයාට අර ඉක්මනට type කරන්න because that person the cashier should enter these sums like quickly. Those people they are using a very small keyboard with only a very few keys because the thing is he's not going to type a letter using the system නේ ඒ system එක පාවිච්චි කරලා එතන letter එකක් type කරන්නේ නැහැ ළමයි ලියුමක් ගහන්න නෙමෙයි මේක තියෙන්නේ ඒක තියෙන්නේ අපි normally ටක් ගාලා transactions ටික කරගන්නනේ දැන් ඔන්න ඔය වගේ සිස්ටම් එකකට the system which you find it in these retail stores, that is what you call a POS system. Then normally lamai these POS systems, they are not that cheap. It's not a very cheap system. It's kind of expensive. Mm. Then normally on the POS system එකක් නම් ඒ කියන්නේ let's say 5 cashiers වගේ connect කරන්න පුළුවන්, එකට connect කරන්න පුළුවන් වගේ system එකක් කියලා හිතන්නකෝ. Normally if you are trying to get a system like this, it would cost them around let's say somewhere around 700,000. So 700,000, around 700,000 it will cost them. So it's not a very cheap. I mean, with the devices and all, ඔක්කොම set එකම. The software, of course, software plus software maybe around 100,000. කියන්නේ normally basic software එකක්. Basic POS software එකක්. දැන් ලංකාවේ පොඩි ඔය cashiers වලට වගේ නම් අවුලක් නැහැ. පොඩි supermarkets වලට ඒ වගේ එකකට manage කරගන්න පුළුවන්. So කියන්නේ ලංකාවේ සිංහලෙන් type කරලා. See, then normally if you go to a certain shop ළමයි, if you buy stuff, they would give a receipt in සිංහල. සිංහලෙන් දැකලා තියෙනවද receipt එක සිංහලෙන් type කරලා? මේ ගත්ත බඩු ටික mention කරලා තියෙන්නේ everything is in සිංහල. It's not in English. Now normally carriers වගේ කියොත් නම් English වලින් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. හැබැයි සමහර POS systems වෙනවා then සිංහලෙනුත් දෙනවා. Now that is also expensive. Because the software is made in Sri Lanka. It's a Sri Lankan software. Because and they are having all these Sri Lankan names or ලංකාවේ කතා කරන ටෑම් වලට පාවිච්චි කරන නම් ටික තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒ software එක ඒක ඒ POS software එක ඒක වෙනම amount එකක්. So these transaction processing systems, it is an information system because what does it input? Input කරන්න මොනවද? මට කියන්න දැන් TPS system එකකට මොනවද input කරන්නේ? If we take a normal TPS system, අපි POS system එකක් ගන්නකො. Retail store එකක ඔන්න POS point of sale system එකක් තියෙනවා. What do we input for this one? Input කරන්න මොනවද? What do we input? And how do we input? I already explained to y'all. Like කිව්වා explain කරා බලන්න. Yes, the item that we buy, right? Then normally if we have a barcode reader එකක් තිබ්බොත් yes, barcode reader එකක් තිබ්බොත් barcode reader එකකින් අපිට items ටික item details ටික input කරන්න පුළුවන්. Because the thing is now the cashiers, so these Cargills and all those stuff, these are huge shops. Your cashiers will in a normally these cashier people, they can't remember the prices of each and every good. So because of that, the system automatically gives the price. Discount එකක් එහෙම තියෙනවනේ ඒක automatically system එකෙන්ම ඒවා දෙනවා ළමයි. cashier තියෙන්නේ අරක ගන්න ඒක හරියට ගන්න විතරයි. cashier වෙන job එකක් නෑ. The system will automatically calculate all the discounts නේද? දැන් අද දවසේ අද මෙච්චරක් discount එකක් එහෙම කියලා දාන්න ad එහෙම TV එකේ එහෙම 5,000 above 5,000 ගන්නව නම් මෙහෙම discount එකක් ඔය වගේ ඒවා. ඉතින් ඒවා ඔක්කොම system එකෙන්. So all the processing will be done by the system. So what is the output? Output වෙන්නේ receipt එක. Yes, and the total. Yes, of course, the total and the receipt. Total එක calculate වෙලා total එක අතන පොඩි monitor එකක් වගේ එකක් තියෙනවා නේද? එතන කස්ටමර්ටත් පේනවා. ඒකේ ඒක කැල්කියුලේට් වෙලා ඊට පස්සේ අපිට ආයිත් රිසිට් එක print වෙලා හම්බ වෙනවා. හරි. Now that is the output of a POS system. Mm, හරි. Okay. Now let's move to the next one. Let's see the next example. ATM, automatic teller machine. What do you mean by a teller? Who is this teller person? What do you call who is this teller? The normally lamai in the banks and usually long time ago, mm, whoever the person who is going to give out the cash, we used to call them tellers. Nowadays even nowadays most of us tell them cashiers. Cashier එකේ ඉන්න එක්කෙනා කියලා. හැබැයි එක හරි නම බැංක් එකේ ඔය කෑෂ් දෙන කට්ටිය ඔයගොල්ලෝ බැංක් එකට ගියාම කෑෂ් රිලීස් කරන අයට අපි කිව්වේ ඉස්සර ටෙලර්ස්ලා කියලා. Now, when we automate this system, we automated this. We tried to reduce the number of tellers. Tellers ලගාන අඩු කරලා අපි ඒක automate කරපුවාම අපිට හම්බ වුණා ළමයි we made the ATM machine. We made the ATM machine. Tell me, have you all gone to the ATM? Have you all gone to the ATM? Yes. So when you go to the ATM, so what's the reason why you are going to the ATM? You are basically going there to get cash, right? So you are basically going to the ATM to get cash. Now before that we used to go to the bank. We used to go directly to the bank. කෙලින්ම ගිය bank එකට ගිහින් අපේ තියෙනවා passbook එක තියෙනවා. passbook එක තියෙනවා. මේක දුන්නා ඊට පස්සේ ID එක දෙන්න ඕනේ. මේවා දුන්නාම අපිට කෑෂ් දෙනවා. අපේ account එකේ money තියෙනවා නම් අපි request කරන amount එක තියෙනවනේ. If the money is available in the bank, then they would give us cash. Now that was long time ago. We used to go to the these tellers who are inside the bank. So we used to hand them over our passbook and get the cash. Now, now the problem is the banks get crowded a lot. So all these people will be coming each and every day to get cash, and the banks will be a lot crowded a lot, and you need a lot of tellers. Tellers the ගොඩාක් ඉන්න ඕනේ ඔය වැඩේ කරන්න. Now that is a problem, no? And also the banks they close at 3 p.m. Now normally a normal bank they would close at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. close කරනවා. City banks වගේ ඒවා තියෙනවා. Okay, Pratap. Yeah, you can have y'all can have the recordings as well. So I'll put them to the group so y'all can check the recording as well. Okay, so now there is a bank call. Okay, so normally the banks they close at 3 o'clock. Now there are banks called city banks. Now they usually last up to 5 p.m. 5 p.m. වගේ අරලා තියෙනවා. So after that no one can withdraw money. මේ time එකෙන් පස්සේ දැන් withdraw කරන්න බෑ. මොකද banks ඔක්කොම close කරලානේ. Now because of that, as a solution, as a very good solution, we came up with the ATM. ATM එකෙන් මොකද අපි කරේ? Now we can easily whenever we want to withdraw cash අපිට cash ගන්න ඕන මොන වෙලාවෙද අපිට ගිහින් cash අපේ account එකෙන් withdraw කරගන්න පුළුවන්. And also we can go to any ATM. මට now, now let's say I'm an HMB customer. මං HMB customer කෙනෙක් කියලා හිතන්න. HMB customer කෙනෙක්. Now uh, normally near to our university we can't find any HMB ATMs. HMB ATMs නෑ ළමයි. මෙහි තියෙන people's BOC තමයි තියෙන්නේ. Now that doesn't matter because I can use my HMB card, HMB debit card, and I still can withdraw cash from a BOC ATM. BOC ATM එකෙන් I can still withdraw cash. ඉතින් මට ඒක එහෙම issue එකකුත් නැහැ. Wherever I go, I can still withdraw money from the ATM machine, any bank's ATM machine. And normally, if I withdraw from the BOC, they would charge me around, I think it was around 30 rupees. Mm. So normally they would charge me a small amount, but still I can withdraw from anywhere. ඕනම තැනකින් නම් withdraw කරන්න පුළුවන්. Then ATM machines වල what do we input? What do we input for these ATM machines? What do we input for these ATM machines? ATM machines වලට input කරන්න මොනවද? ATM එකකට ගිහින්. ඔය banks වල ඉස්සරහා තියෙන ATM machine එක. cash ගන්න යන්නේ. අපි what do we input? We go there and we give our debit card. We put our debit card. We insert our debit card. Okay, we insert it. We insert the debit card. So we insert, wait, let me write it properly. So we insert the debit card. What else? Debit card uninsert kara. What else? They would ask for our PIN. අපෙන් PIN එකක් ඉල්ලනවා ළමයි. කාඩ් එක විතරක් දැම්ම මදි. They asked for our PIN. It was a PIN number එකත් ඔන්න input කරා. PIN number එකත් දැම්මා. PIN number එකත් input කරා. හරි. තව මොනවද අපිට input කරන්න ඕනේ? Yes, the amount of money, right? So amount of money. අපිට ඕන amount එක අපිට මට කීයක් ඕනේද? මට කීයක් ඕනේද ඒ කියන්නේ මට කොච්චරක් cash ගන්න ඕනේද? තියෙන එක තමයි මම input කරන්නේ. Now wait, let me change this one. Okay. So the amount of money. Okay. Amount of money. Then what else? What is the process? Process එක මොකක්ද? දැන් මෙච්චරයිනේ input කරන්න ළමයි අපිට debit card එක අපි input කරනවා. debit card එක input කරා, PIN number එක input කරා. ඊට පස්සේ දැන් ඕන amount එක, the amount of money that we input ඒකත් මට ඕන amount එක input කරා. Let's say I want 10,000 මම 10,000 කියලා දැම්මා. Let's say I want just 1,000 rupees ඕන නම් මම ඒක enter කරා. What is the process? Process එක මොකක්ද? First thing is validating the card. Validating the card. Card එක validate කරන්න වෙනවා. ඒක ATM machine එකෙන් කරන්න යා card එක validate කරනවා. Because sometimes my card might be damaged. My card might be expired. Damage වෙලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Expire වෙලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Or else fake වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. We don't know. No, sometimes some people might, insert fake cards even. Or else වැරදි කාඩ් එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ ඩෙබිට් කාඩ් එක කියලා මොකක් හරි ලොයල්ටි කාඩ් එකක් මේ අතන්ට දාන මේ ඉන්සර්ට් කරනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So first thing is validating the card. Okay. Then so if it is all good, validate කරලා හරිනම් හරි validate වුණා නම් check in the balance. The system will check the balance. Because let's say I am asking for 10,000. I am asking for 10,000. But in my bank, the balance is, let's say the balance was just 5,000. The bank will not give me extra money, right? Bank එකෙන් මට නිකන් දෙන්නේ නැහැ ළමයිනේ. Bank එකෙන් දැන් මං අහනවා මං ඉල්ලනවා 10,000. හැබැයි මගේ account එකේ තියෙන්නේ 5,000. Bank එක කවදාවත් මට ඉතුරු 5,000 දෙන්නේ නැහැනේ withdraw කරන්න. So then the next thing is they will check the balance. Balance එක check කරනවා. හරි. Now after that processing, after the processing has ended, the output. Okay. So after the process has ended, process එක ඉවර වුණා. Then process එක මොකද්ද validate කරා card එක. ඊට පස්සේ balance එක check කරා. balance එකත් check කරලා ඉවර වුණාම output එක මොනවද අපිට දැන් ATM එකෙන් output කරන්නේ? What do we what's the output that we get from the ATM? What is the output that we get? What is the output that we get from the ATM machine? The output that we get from the ATM will be the receipt. So we'll get the receipt. Receipt එක හම්බ වෙනවා ළමයි. Then after that, the receipt will get the receipt, and then after that, we will get the money. So this is how the ATM works. So we are inputting the debit cards, the PIN number එක enter කරා, ඕන කරන money enter කරා. ඊට පස්සේ process එකක් එතන වුණා. Processing එක එතන වුණා. Balance එක check කරා. ඒ දේවල් ඔක්කොම වුණාට පස්සේ අපිට output එක දෙනවා. We'll get the output. The output will be output එක තමයි receipt එකයි අපිට cash වෙයි. So this money of course it will be in cash. Cash විදිහට තමයි හම්බ වෙන්නේ. හරි. Let's say I ask for 10,000 ඉල්ලුවන I'll most probably I will get 5,000 5000 දෙකක් වගේ හම්බ වෙයි. ඉතින් ඒ විදිහට තමයි the ATM will work. So that is how the ATM will work. Okay. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Okay, so next so that is how the ATM works. So I explained it. Next one, the CDM. What is the CDM? Cash deposit machine. Cash deposit කරන machine එක. දැන් ATM එකේ නම් ළමයි අපි කරේ cash ගත්ත එක විතරයි. Cash එළියට ගත්ත එක විතරයි. සල්ලි ගත්ත එක විතරයි කරේ. But let's say you need to deposit money. Deposit කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. දාන්න ඕනේ කියලා ඔයගලගේ account එකට for your account, for your own account, or let's say you need to deposit money to someone else's account. Then normally ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඔයගොල්ලෝ online banking use කරන්නේ නැත්නම් if y'all are not using online banking, if your parents are not using online banking, now normally most of the students when they are paying for these online classes, the online classes වලට pay කරද්දි මට අප්ලෝඩ් කරන්න ගොඩක් වෙලාට රිසිට් එක. ගැන normal ඒගොල්ලෝ කරන්නේ they CDM machines වලට ගිහින් amount එක දාලා මගේ account එකට deposit කරන එක තමයි කරන්නේ. So they are normally, so most of the students they are giving me this the receipt which we get from the CDM machine. So why do we use the CDM? We are using the CDM to deposit the money. So in the CDM ATM කියලා දෙකක් විදියට normally ඔය bank එකේ නෑ ළමයි. දැන් normally bank එකේ නම් තියෙන්නේ එක machine එකේ දෙකම පුළුවන්. So both the CDM and ATM they are both in the same machine. So anyhow but the CDM the way it works is different. CDM cash deposit machine. Okay, cash deposit machine. Okay, so what would be the input CDM එකකට දැන් ATM එකේ නම් අපි cash ගත්ත එක තමයි කරන්නේ. What would be the input for the CDM machine? In the ATM machine we got the cash, right? We received the cash. What happens in the CDM? You can answer that. Yes, you give the account number. Let's say it is my account number, so you insert that account number. What else? Amount. So basically it happens like you put the cash, right? You 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 input the cash, right? This machine will open and you put the cash inside. You cash තමයි ඇතුළට දාන්න. ඊට පස්සේ what is the process? Validating the cash. So the CDM machines they would validate the cash. So I mean like it can be fake money, right? I can insert fake money as well. No, some person might give me fake money and then I might have mistakenly inserted fake money, and or else sometimes the money will be damaged. Sometimes the money will be like hugely damaged. Paint might be all over it. ගොඩාක් damage වෙච්ච සල්ලි වෙන්න පුළුවන්, ඉරිලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. I think first thing is if the machine would validate the cash. Validate කරනවා. Yes. So some these pen marks might be there. All these pen marks might be there in the uh, these money. It might be scrambled like ගොඩක් පොඩි වෙලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේ money normally CDM machines they don't accept those money. So validating the cash. Yeah. What do you mean by EXP? You mean expired? Okay. Yes. So you mean like something like a very old money, right? ගොඩාක් පරණ සල්ලිද? දැන් එහෙම වුණොත් yes. If it is very old money, yes, true. The CD, yes, banded. Okay. So very old money. Now let's say nowadays if you are not using it in our system, I don't know whether y'all can remember like before nowadays these notes we have. Before that one we had several notes. ඊට කලින් ගොඩක් තිබ්බ 10 rupee note එක තිබ්බා. Then තව 1000 rupee වෙන blue color note was there. නිල් පාට note එකක් තිබ්බ. Nowadays we are not in use, right? So these CDM machines they would reject them as well. පරණ ඒවා reject කරනවා. And then 2000 note was there. probably you might not have seen දැකලා නැතුව ඇති 2000 නෝට් එක තිබ්බා 2000 කරන්සි නෝට් එක තිබ්බා nowadays ඒක දැන් නැති හින්දා දැන් ඒක CDM වලින් accept කරන්නෙත් නැහැ. Then validating the account number. Account number එක ළමයි validate කරගන්නවා. මොකද sometimes you might have mistakenly type the account number. You might have typed less digits. Now let's say normally in an account number there are 12 digits. 12ක් තියෙනවා. 12ක් නැත්තම් මම හිතන්නේ 16ක්. මම I can't exactly remember. ඒක බැංක් එකෙන් බැංක් එකටත් වෙනස් වෙනවනේ. Then normally POC වගේ නම් it's somewhere I think 8 digits. HMB වගේ නම් it's 12 digits. So it differs from bank to bank. Now these CDM machines, they would validate the account number. Okay, so validating the cash, then validating the account number. Then if all good, they would ask for the confirmation. Yes, the person's name. Okay, so if we normally like cut the let's say my account is HMB. Now, if y'all are depositing for my account, y'all are normally going for an HNB CDM, HMB CDM එකකට යන්නේ ළමයි. HMB එකට අයිති එකකට යන්නේ. Normally, if you go to that place, if you go to a HMB CDM, if you type the account number, you would automatically see that it belongs to RDM Pereira. So they would suggest my name with the initials. If you type my account number in the HMB, you would see that it belongs to RDM Pereira. But you should go to an HMB CDM and then type my HMB account number. Then only they would automatically suggest that this belongs to RDM Pereira. So confirmation. So finally, they would ask for the confirmation. Confirmation. Then finally, what would be the output? What is the output that we are getting? Finally, as the output, we will get a receipt of payment, right? So you will get a receipt of payment. Receipt එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා. Yes. receipt එක හම්බ වෙනවා. receipt එක confirmation එකක් විදියට receipt එක හම්බ වෙනවා. So you can take that receipt. So if it is the online class, then you can take the receipt and upload it to the drive. So whatever, like, so that is a confirmation. So you would get a receipt of payment. Okay. So that is how the CDM works. Now let's see other examples as well. Okay, so the next one is LMS system. LMS system and the health information system. Okay. Now normally, what is an LMS system? Do you all know what's an LMS system is? It stands for learning management system. So LMS, it stands for learning management system. So what does these why do we use these LMS systems? Now we use them make up මේ LMS system එක අපි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ මේක use කරන්නේ. We usually use them in universities. mm, Universities. Or else sometimes we use it in schools as well. Schools වල universities වල තමයි use කරන්නේ. Now normally in the university we have assignments. mm, Assignments is typically ළමයි ඔයගලන්ට හම්බ වෙන ඔය homework වගේ. mm, Assignments. Then we have the lecture recordings. Lecture recordings, assignments, lecture recordings, lecture slides. Lecture recordings කියන්නේ normally lecture එක ඉවර වුණාම එතන recording එකක් තියෙනවා. Recording එකක් ගන්නවා normally lecturer කෙනෙක්. ඒ recording එක lecture slides කියන්නේ ඒ මොන හරි presentation එකක් පෙන්වන නම් ඒවා. තව books වගේ දේවල් online books වගේ දේවල්. So usually all these stuff are put into the LMS system because it is easy. Now lecturers, it is very difficult for them, and even for the students it is very difficult to get all these slides, to get all the online books, to get all the lecture recordings. It's very difficult for them. So it's very difficult for the lecturers even to distribute all these recordings to each and every student, right? හැමෝටම ඔක recordings දෙන්නයි හැමෝටම slides distribute කරන්නයි ඔක difficult නේ. ඔන්න ඕක හින්දා universities වල තියෙනවා මේ LMS system එක. ඉතින් එතකොට lazy. Assignments එහෙම what we should do is when we have completed an assignment. So when we have completed an assignment, what we should do is we upload it to the LMS. So when we have completed an assignment, ඉවර කරපුවාම system එකට ගියා එතනින් LMS එකට upload කරා. So whenever the lecturer wants to correct our assignments කියන්නේ homework වගේ දැන් ඔක correct කරන්න එපා. හරිද බලන්න එපා. ඒක එයාට එතකොට එයාට normally එයාට free time එකක he can check our uploaded assignments, uploaded PDFs. So normally these LMS systems are used in universities because there are a lot of study materials, ගොඩාක් study materials තියෙනවා. මොකද පොත්වල ලියනවා අඩුයි, books වල we rarely write in our books. Books වල ලියනවා ගොඩක් අඩුයි. ඉතින් lecturer board එකේ ලියනවත් ගොඩක් අඩුයි. Yeah, normally presentations වලින් තමයි පෙන්නන්නේ. ඉතින් in order to manage everything ඔක්කොම හැමෝටම ලේසි වෙන්න we have the LMS system. Now not just in universities, some schools even they have these LMS systems, especially because of COVID. Because of COVID, some universities they adopted these LMS systems. University නෙවෙයි, sorry, universities වල කොහොමද තිබ්බ, but yeah. So even government universities, I know there are certain government universities, they are still using these LMS systems, especially අර COVID ආව ඒ කාලේ ගත්ත ඒ package එකේ හැමම ඒක adopt කරගෙන continue කරගෙන යනවා. ඒතකොට students ලාට මොන හරි homework එහෙම teacher දාන්නේ LMS system එකේ. Then normally most of the schools I know, if the teacher wants to send a homework, what the teacher would do is they have a WhatsApp group. You all in your school, even your school teachers, they might have a WhatsApp group. So but Yeah, so that is how normally the homework and stuff. So especially during these vacation homework him then him. But if they have a LMS system, if they are using an LMS system, it would be very easy for them to submit, to put all the homeworks in the LMS. And even for the students, even when they have written the answer, they can take a screenshot එකක් sorry මේ photo එකක් ගන්නවා answer එකේ, or else they can use like CM scanner and all those stuff, cam scanner වගේ එකක් use කරලා කොහොම හරි අරගෙන ඒක submit කරන්න පුළුවන් LMS system එකට. Then the teacher, it would be easier for the teacher to collect all the answers. හැම ළමයිගේම answers collect කරගන්න එතකොට teacher ට ලේසි. දැන් homework එහෙම කරලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට drive upload කරනවා හරි WhatsApp my teacher ට message එක යවන එකනේ. But if the school has a LMS system, it would be easier for them to manage everything. So normally all these, most of the LMS systems out there, they are using Moodle. Moodle LMS system එක තමයි use කරන්නේ. Or else we can use Google Classroom as well. Google Classroom. Google Classroom. So this is also a LMS system. So Moodle is the most famous one. Now in our university, even we are using this Moodle LMS system, so to manage everything. Right? So, so students, so that depends. Like so, that depends on the organization. They can buy whatever the system that they would like. But the system is not for free. මේක නිකන් හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේක free එකක් නෙවෙයි. Payment එකක් කරන්න වෙයි. It depends on the amount of people who will use the system. يعني මේක පාවිච්චි කරන ප්‍රමාණය අනුව වෙනස් වෙනවා. So I think y'all understood what an LMS system is, right? In the future, even we will might have to talk about the LMS once again, but I think now y'all have a good understanding. Okay. Then then we have the health information system. Health information systems, we use these health information systems in the hospitals, right? Hospital එකේ තමයි මේවා use කරන්නේ. What are the inputs? මේකට input කරන්න මොනවද? Health information system එකට. Now normally let's say this is the very first time you are going to that particular hospital. පළවෙනි වතාව කියලා හිතන්න hospital එකට යන. මොනවද input කරන්නේ? මොනවද අපි නෙවෙයි personally අපි නෙවෙයි input කරන්නේ. එතන ඉන්න කවුද අපේ කවුරු හරි normally එතන cashier එකේ ඉන්න කවුරු හරි receptionist. Sorry, it's not the cashier, receptionist. Now what type of data will be input? මොන වගේ data? Yes, they would give us an number, right? Admission number. They would give us a particular ID. Even in government hospitals, then තියනවා ළමයි. දැන් system එක තියෙනවා government hospitals වලත් ඒගොල්ලෝ use කරනවා. So අන්න number එක. What else? තව මොනවද input කරන්නේ? තව our diseases, disease එක ලෙඩේ මොකක්ද කියලා. Then doctor, අපි කාව හරි channel කරන්නද එන්නේ ඒ doctor. Yes, the sickness, yes, correct. Sickness මොකක්ද තියෙන ලෙඩේ. අපි channel කරන්න doctor කවුද? අපේ age එක, වයස ඕනේ, the amount, yes. So if it is now if it is a private hospital, yes, so that the amount will be there. Now let's just talk about the government hospital. රජයේ hospital එකක් බලමු. ඉතින් disease, doctor, age එක, our address, address එක දෙන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ phone number should be there. phone number එක. phone number එකක් දෙන්න ඕනේ ළමයි. Then after that guardian's phone number. Yes, guardian's phone number, the city, yes, the city එක. So all these stuff should be input. So if it is the first time you're going to the government hospital, රජයේ hospital එකට ඒ ගිය පළවෙනි වතාව නම් එහෙනම් මේ ටික ගන්න. Then they would store them. They would keep a record of all these health information. Now let's say you go to it the next time ඊළඟ තව පාරක් තව ලෙඩක් හැදිලා මොකක් හරි එකට ගියා කියලා, let's say you get sick once again, so you will have to go to the hospital, right? Once again I gear. Now they already have our health records. They already have our health records. Now that is important, right? Parana Deval, our previous health records, it is very important for the doctor. Now, normally we might not remember like what type of disease we had before. Like we might not remember the reason even why we went to the hospital like few months ago, few years ago. But if there is a health record, which uh, uh, that would be very important for the doctor. So if we don't usually remember, right? We don't usually remember like whether we were sick like few weeks ago even. But if there is a particular health record, මොනහරි health record එකක් තිබ්බනම් මෙහෙම සත් දෙකකට කලින් ලෙඩ වෙලා. Let's say there is a health record which states like we were sick 2 weeks ago. If there is a health record which states that I was like I had pneumonia like two years ago. ඔය වගේ health record එකක් මොන හරි තිබ්බොත් that health record will be important for the doctor. Okay, important doctor ට. මොකද එයා එතකොට ඒකිනුත් decision එකක් ගන්නවා. Then the doctor might give decisions according to our health record. Now normally in these in government hospitals they are trying to implement this system. But nowadays even now if you go to a hospital you can see like most of these patients they are carrying a small book, right? 80-page book එකක් ගෙනියනවා පිටු 80ක පොතක්, especially the old ones, මේ වයසක අය. So that is also a health record. The doctors they have written everything in the book. So these all patients they forget, no, they forget all the medicines that they have taken, no? But once they go to these but once again when they go to these doctors they can check the book, they can check the 80-page book, and then they can identify the health records, the previous health records. Now that system or paranakrame, that all system is now turned into a very good, very advanced health information system. But of course, when it comes to the Sri Lankan system, there are a few problems, because especially when it comes to the government system, there are very like huge problems, because I heard like these hospitals they are still not connected yet, even though they have separate health systems, health records, they are maintaining the health records. The hospitals are not connected yet. Like a patient in Jaffna who's going to a hospital in Jaffna can't come to Colombo and get his health records back. He would have to again enter the data to the Colombo system and separately, just identify as a separate individual in the Colombo hospital. So that is a problem. That is a problem. So now still there are problems with the now the system which we are using. Actually, there was a lot of talk about it as well because it took actually 7 years to develop this system. The Sri Lankan company was developing took this contract to develop the particular system, but still it's not 100% working. So that's the problem in Sri Lanka. So a particular company in Sri Lanka only they got this contract, but they took 7 years to uh, implement this one. So that's a very long time for a system like that. So anyway, and they asked for a very huge amount. I can't remember the exact amount, but I think it was close to around 700 million rupees for this system. If it is working, it's fine, but I think it's not 100% working. So anyways, let's go. Okay. And then we have, of course, in your textbook even they mention about the barcode and the ISBN. Now these barcodes, of course, you have seen in these all these products, the biscuits, mm, all these in biscuits. Then what else? All these products. So all these products you can identify all in every product. In every product, shampoo bottles, yeah, everything. So not just in Sri Lanka, not just in Sri Lanka, but everything, even chocolate bars, everything all over the world. Each and every product will be identified using a barcode. හැම ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකකම දැන් ලංකාවේ විතරක් නෙමෙයි ලෝකේ තියෙන ඕනම ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරන කෝඩ් එක තමයි මෙන්න මේ barcode එකක් කියන්නේ. මෙන්න මේ barcode එක. Now we read these barcodes using a barcode reader. Barcode reader එකක් use කරනවා මේ barcode එක read කරන්න. Barcode reader එකක් normally cashiers වල තියෙන්නේ, but let me show y'all. Wait, I'll share the screen once again. Okay, so this is a barcode. Okay, so normally we use these barcodes in these food cities, in these retail shops, okay, in inventory management, we use these barcodes. So mostly they are used in these retail shops. Okay. Okay. So we use them in retail shops and also in inventory management. What do you mean by inventory? Inventory in the sense inventory management. Inventory management. Inventory management in the sense, if it is a very huge shop, or else let's say it is a storeroom, a huge storeroom. So a lot of products will be coming into the store, right? A lot of products, different types of products will be coming to the storeroom. So a person cannot exactly, exactly count all the products, no. So he might forget the number. He might go like 449, then again start from 30s and වරද්ද ගන්න පුළුවන් පටලව ගනි 49 යනවා ආයෙත් යනවා 30 ගණන් වලින් පටන් ගන්නවා. ඒ වගේ එකකින් එක count කර කර එන්න ගියොත් mistakes might happen. So what these people, what they can do is they can use a barcode reader. Barcode reader again ටක් ගාලා count කර කර කියා. කියන්නේ barcode එකට අල්ලන්න විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. They just have to point the barcode reader to the particular barcode, then the system will automatically count the products. So that is inventory management. Now you can see these inventories, these storerooms when you go to Colombo. There are certain buildings, especially in PETA. There are certain buildings which are huge inventory. Loku gabada. So they don't sell anything. They don't sell any product, but they are just basically they are basically storerooms. They might be holding certain imported products. They might be holding cosmetics. They might be holding different types of books. They might be holding wheat, sugar, whatever. So, in order to manage an inventory, they will be using a barcode reader. Then we have another one called the ISBN. Where do we get this one? International Standard Book Number. Where do we find these ISBN? ISBN is a national standard identification number for uniquely identifying books. So you have, so reading books. I mean novels, okay, novels. Then we have all these educational books. Hmm? Yes, educational books. Hmm? Educational books. Hmm? Even your ICTS, correct, Putha, even your ICT textbook. All these books in the world will be identified by a unique number. Mm. It will be very unique. Okay. Now, normally these ISBN numbers, they are using a 13-digit ISBN number. Mm. Now, it is a very unique number. Unique in the sense, none of these books out there will have that ISBN number. Now, for example, take your ICT textbook. This particular number is unique in the sense, in the whole world, මුළු ලෝකෙම ඔයගලගේ ICT book එකට විතරයි මේ number එක තියෙන්නේ. In the whole world, your particular ICT book will have its own ISBN number. No book in the world will have the same ISBN number. The Mekai, it looks similar, but the only difference is these ISBN numbers are specially for books. Make a specially තියෙන්නේ ළමයි books වලට මේ ISBN එක. Then normally, in case if you need to find a book, if you normally can't find it, now let's say you call the Sarasavi bookshop. If you tell them the name, sometimes they might not know it. නම කිව්වහම කියන්නේ හොයාගන්න බැරි වෙයි. But they would ask whether y'all know the ISBN number. ISBN number එක දන්නවද කියලා අහන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට number එක කිව්වොත් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ system, they would search in the system and then tell us whether the book is available or not. කියන්නේ system එක search කරලා ටක් ගාලා කියයි book එක available ද නැද්ද කියලා. හරි. So that is what an ISBN number is. So we have the barcode and then we have the ISBN number. So it looks different, but it looks the same, but they are used for two different purposes. This one is specially for books. Books වලට විතරයි මේක use කරන්නේ. හරි. And so let's I think so it's 8 o'clock. So let's wrap up the class for today. Uh, so let's continue the next chapters next week. Okay, so we have more to complete in the first lesson, and it's very interesting as well. Uh, yeah, so thank you all for joining. And so before and also if you all have Telegram channels, Telegram use karana, you all can just subscribe to my channel as well, because I post very interesting content for these ICT students, especially for ICT students. So ගොඩක් ඉන්ට්‍රස්ටිං ගොඩක් අලුත් දේවල් ටෙක්නෝලජි එකේ වෙන අලුත් දේවල් අලුත් experimentations අලුත් inventions මම Telegram channel එකේ post කරනවා, so you all can join to that Telegram channel as well. ඒකේ ගොඩක් දේවල් share කරනවා. හරි, so anyways, so thank you all, and let's meet again next week. So good night.